Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. NBA is officially back from the All-Star break. We had a great first half to the season. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'll put them on the screen. I'm up like 22 or I think about 22 units. It was really, really nice first half. Hopefully that continues here. We're coming back with a bang. 12 games on the board. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
First up, we got Orlando on the road at Cleveland. Cavs laying 7 points at home. The total sitting at 214.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 4-point Cleveland win. Final score 113-109 Cavs. Injury reports on the Orlando side. Markelle Fultz has been ruled out for this game. Other than that, the Magic are completely good to go. On the Cleveland side, Donovan Mitchell is listed as questionable for this one. So we'll have to wait and see if he's going to play. Cleveland is on a back-to-back, which we'll get to in a second. Other than that, Cavs are at full strength, though. Betting trends on the Orlando side. Magic are 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 overall. 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 on the road. 9-3 against the spread in their last 13 as road underdogs. Recent trends on the Cavs side, just 4-5 against the spread in their last 9 overall, 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 at home. As far as this particular head-to-head matchup, the Cavs have definitely gotten the better of the Magic. Orlando's just 1-4-2 against the spread in their last 7 matchups against Cleveland. 1-3-1 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Cleveland. As far as trends for the total, overs have been hitting in Orlando games. 5 straight overs for the Magic. 4-2 to the over in their last 6 on the road. This particular head-to-head matchup, though, has been all under. 15-6 to the under in their last 21 head-to-head matchups. 8-3 to the under in their last 11 matchups in Cleveland. So let's match these two teams up on the court. And we'll start with the matchup for the Orlando offense. Tough to find positive angles here. We know how good Cleveland has been defensively. If you're looking for something, I guess you could point at the long mid-range shot. Orlando is 9th in frequency from that zone in the last 10 games. It's pretty much been the only weakness as far as the shot zones go for Cleveland's defense. 21st in frequency, 27th in efficiency in the last 10. But as a whole, Cleveland's defense definitely has the edge in this matchup. Orlando's been struggling to protect the basketball, 25th in turnover rate. Cleveland's defense, 10th in forced turnover rate. Also, we know this Orlando offense loves to attack the basket. In the last 10 games, they're 2nd in shot frequency at the rim. That's playing right into the strength of Cleveland's defense. 3rd in defensive efficiency at the basket in the last 10, the Cavs. On the other side of the court, we got the Cavs offense, and we know how this Cleveland offense is. I mean, they take all of their shots from 2 zones, either at the rim or from the above the break 3. We'll start with the rim. 11th in frequency, 5th in efficiency. The Cavs offense is in the last 10 games. Good news for Cleveland. Orlando's got terrible defensive efficiency numbers. I mean, they're 4th in frequency, so they've been good about limiting shot attempts at the basket, but 29th in efficiency. So when they do allow shots at the rim, opponents are hitting them at a high rate. But then when we switch it up and look at the 3-point shooting numbers, I mean, obviously you can see here, Cleveland 6th and above the break frequency, 9th in corner 3 frequency in the last 10 games. Orlando's actually done a good job out there. In the last 10, the Orlando Magic 13th and 10th against the above the break 3, 14th and 6th against the corner 3. So Orlando's defensive numbers against the 3 ball are definitely a little bit of a concern, but overall I'd say it's a favorable matchup for the Cavs. Then you add in the fact that Orlando's offense has been much worse on the road, back at 24th in efficient field goal percentage on the road this year. Cleveland's defense 1st at home. The Cavs should have the advantage on both sides of the court. I mean, as long as Donovan Mitchell plays, Cleveland would be my only move here. I'm not betting this one yet. I want to see if Mitchell plays, but I'll say Cavs -7 or pass next game. New York Knicks on the road in Philly. Sixers laying 1 point here. Total sitting at 226. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, final score 114-114. Obviously, that can't be the final score, but the model's got this one deadlocked. Injury reports on the Knicks side: Hartenstein probable, Bogdanovich probable, so they should be out there. OG Anunoby is still out. Julius Randle is still out. Mitchell Robinson obviously still out. On the Philadelphia side, obviously still no Joel Embiid. He's going to be out for a while. Covington is still out. DeAnthony Melton is still out. Nicholas Batum might be back, though. He's listed as questionable. Both of these teams badly needed the break. Knicks had lost 4 in a row. Sixers lost 9 of their last 12. This is the first leg of a back-to-back for Philly. They got the Cleveland Cavs on deck tomorrow. Betting trends on the New York Knicks side: 6 in a row. 0-6 against the spread in their last 6. They are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 on the road. 3-10 against the spread in their last 10 as road dogs, though, so they've been better as road favorites. Good news for the Knicks, though. The Sixers trends look even worse. 4-10 against the spread in their last 14. 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 at home. 3-5 against the spread in their last 8 as home favorites. Recent history in this particular head-to-head matchup tilts towards the Knicks. Knicks are 6-4-1 against the spread in their last 11 games against the Sixers. They're also 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 trips to Philly. As far as the total goes, trends are pointing towards the under here. The under is 18-5 in the last 23 Knicks games, 6-2 in the last 8 Knicks road games. And on the Philly side, under is 3-1 in their last 4 at home, 4-2 in their last 6 overall. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with the Knicks offense. Right off the bat, we got a nice advantage here. The Knicks do on the offensive glass. In the last 10 games, they're second in offensive rebounding rate. Philly defensively back at 20th. They also should be able to get some buckets down low here at the basket. 10th in shot frequency at the rim in the last 10. That's been a weakness for Philly defensively. 17th in frequency, 28th in efficiency in that same time span. My concerns for the Knicks offensively in this matchup, I have two, actually. First would be that short mid-range shot that they love to take. You see Brunson shooting it all the time. Philly actually, I mean, the Sixers defense has been terrible, but actually in the last 10 games, they got some solid defensive numbers against that shot, the 8 to 12 footer. And my other concern for the Knicks offense is they may not be equipped to take advantage of Philly's biggest defensive weakness right now, which is the three-point shot. I mean, they've been terrible against the three ball. Knicks have been shooting terribly from outside. On the other side of the court, we got the Sixers offense, and good news for Philly. The Knicks defense seems to be just falling apart right now. On the season, they're 9th in overall defensive rating, 25th in the last 10 games. In the last 5 games, they're 29th. As far as this particular matchup, in the last 10 games, Philly's been attacking the interior a lot. In the last 10, they're 5th in shot frequency at the rim. That's been a problem for the Knicks recently. In the last 10 games, they're 25th in frequency, 15th in efficiency. But just like the Knicks offense, Philly's offense also likes to take a lot of those short mid-range shots, those 8 to 12 footers. They're 3rd in frequency in the last 10. Knicks actually have good defensive numbers there, 4th and 4th in the last 10. Also, kind of the same matchup on this side of the court here, in a sense that the weakness of this Knicks defense has been the three-point shot. They've been getting absolutely lit up from outside, just like the Sixers have. In the last 10 games, they're 28th in efficiency against both the above the break and corner threes. Look at the Sixers offensive numbers from beyond the arc. The three ball hasn't been working at all. They're bottom 10 in every single category in the last 10 games. As far as betting this game, I would lean Philly though. Knicks may have to be an auto fade for now. I haven't bet this one yet. But with Buddy Hield now active for the Sixers, I expect the outside shooting numbers to trend upwards, which is, like I just said, has been a problem for the Knicks. So I'll say Philly -1 or pass for now. Next game. Brooklyn on the road in Toronto. Raps laying 2 points at home. The total sitting at 231.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see a 4-point Raps win. Final score 116-112 Toronto. Injury reports, nothing for Brooklyn. As I'm looking at this report right now, not a single name on the report. Nets should be at full strength here. And you know what? Actually, I'm looking at it. Same thing goes for Toronto. Not a single name on the injury report for the Raps either. Before we get into this one, we need to mention that Toronto's on the first leg of a back-to-back. They immediately fly out of Toronto all the way down to Atlanta for a game against the Hawks tomorrow night. Well, actually, I'm recording this on late Wednesday night, so that would be Friday night. Betting trends on the Brooklyn side are pretty disgusting looking. Nets, 1-4-1 against the spread in their last 6. 2-12 against the spread in their last 14 on the road. Good Lord. 5-11 against the spread in their last 16 as road dogs. Good news for Brooklyn, though. The Raps trends look just as bad. 2-4 against the spread in their last 6. 6-11 against the spread in their last 17 at home. 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 as home favorites. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Brooklyn. The Nets are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 matchups against the Raps. 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Toronto. We also got a few trends pointing to the under here. The under is 3-1 in the last 4 Raps games, 8-1 in the last 9 Raptors home games, and in this particular head-to-head matchup between the Nets and Raptors, the under is 5-1 in the last 6, 5-2 in the last 7 matchups at Toronto. So let's match these teams up on the court. We'll start with Brooklyn offensively. Obviously, as we know, the Nets take a ton of jump shots. It's basically all they do. You can see in the last 10 games, 8th in frequency from the corner 3, 9th in frequency from the above the break 3, 10th in frequency from the long mid-range shot. I mean, the Nets are just taking jump shots. That's what they do. And the good news, Toronto has been struggling to defend the above the break 3. In the last 10 games, they're 21st in frequency, 23rd in efficiency. The bad news for Brooklyn, though, Toronto actually has good numbers defending the other 2 zones. They're 11th in efficiency against the long mid-range shot, 7th in efficiency against the corner 3. So more bad news for Brooklyn on this side of the court. Probably not going to get many opportunities as far as foul shots. On the season, they're 26th in free throw rate offensively. Raptors defense just 3rd. The weakness of this Raptors defense has been on the interior. 24th in the paint, 27th at the rim. Problem is, Nets don't have much of an offensive presence down there. I mean, look at these numbers. They really don't have an interior scoring presence. So I actually think the Raps defense is a tough matchup for Brooklyn. On the other side of the court, we got the Toronto offense and offensive rebounding edge here. 10th in the last 10 games for the Raps. Brooklyn defensively back at 23rd. So, okay. So be some second chance points for the Raps. Also, as we know, the Raps love to run the fast break. On the season, they're 2nd in fast break frequency, 12th in efficiency. That's something the Nets have struggled with defensively all year. 21st in frequency, 19th in efficiency. The bad news for Toronto is a big part of their offense is scoring at the basket. In the last 5 games, they've been pretty good scoring at the rim. I don't know if that's going to be there against Brooklyn. The Nets have been a pretty solid team defending the rim all season. In the last 5 games, they're efficiency down there. But overall, as a whole, I think it's a favorable matchup for Toronto. I mean, I don't love the idea of laying points with a Raptors team that I don't think is very good, but I do like the matchup for them, so I'm going to be on the Raps here. I'm going to bet this one right after I'm done recording. So give me Toronto -2 next game. Detroit on the road at Indiana is up next. Pacers laying 11.5 points at home. The total sitting at 247.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, should be a close one. 2-point Pacers win. Final score 119-117. Injury reports, we'll start with Detroit. Cade Cunningham is on the report, but he's listed as probable. Isaiah Stewart might be back. He's listed as questionable. He's been out for a little while now, so Pistons may be getting him back. Quentin Grimes is on the report as well. He's listed as doubtful. On the Indiana side, Naismith is out. He's been ruled out. Jalen Smith is also on the report. He's listed as questionable. Betting trends on the Pistons side. Detroit is 12-4 against the spread in their last 16, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 on the road, but they are coming off back-to-back road against the spread losses. So these numbers look really good. They failed to cover their last 2. Good news for the Pistons is Indiana's been pretty awful against the number recently. Just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8. 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 at home. 4-7-1 against the spread in their last 12 as home favorites. As far as this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all overs. 6-1 to the over in the last 7 meetings between these two, and 10-1 to the over in the last 11 meetings at Indiana. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with Detroit's offense. Right off the bat, they should have a solid edge on the offensive glass. In the last 10 games, they're 8th in offensive rebounding rate. Pacers defense back at 28th, so should see some second chance opportunities for the Pistons here. And overall, I like the way this Pistons offense matches up here. Pacers' main defensive strength recently has been the 3-ball, specifically above the break. Pistons barely shoot above the break threes. In fact, they're dead last in frequency from that zone. So the Pistons don't even shoot from out there. And if you look at the last 5 games, what have the Pistons been doing? They've been getting to the interior. 4th in frequency at the rim, 5th in frequency in the paint. Look at the Pacers' defensive numbers in the last 5 games in those 2 zones, 22nd and 23rd. So yeah, I actually really like the matchup for the Pistons offense, as crazy as that sounds. I am a little concerned with turnovers though. In the last 10 games, they're 26th in turnover rate. They're having problems protecting the basketball. And Indiana's 10th in forced turnover rate. So turnovers could be an issue for the Pistons. But as a whole, I like the matchup for Detroit on this side. Now, on the other side of the court, obviously, we know the Pacers are going to get to the basket, and they're probably going to score some points here. Detroit in the last 10 games, 23rd in frequency at the rim, 22nd in efficiency. Pacers, 4th in frequency at the rim in the last 10. So definite mismatch in favor of the Pacers there. But after that, I mean, the Pacers offense really hasn't been that great. I mean, look at the rebounding edge here. 26th in offensive rebounding rate. The Pacers are in the last 10. Pistons are 4th. So not going to be many second chance opportunities here. As far as betting this game, I don't see any reason in hell to lay 11.5 points with the Pacers right now. Pistons have been keeping these games competitive. I know they missed the cover in the last 2, but got to go with Detroit plus 11.5 here next game. Phoenix on the road in Dallas. Got a nice rivalry here. Mavs laying 2.5 points at home. The total sitting at 243.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 4-point Mavs win. Final score 118-114 Dallas. Injury reports, we'll start with Phoenix. Bradley Beal is listed as questionable, so we'll see with him. But other than that, Suns should be good to go. On the Dallas side, we got Luka Doncic listed as probable, Derek Lively listed as probable, Maxi Kleber listed as probable, Dante Exum remains out. Betting trends on the Phoenix side, Suns are 7-2 against the spread in their last 9, just 3-4 against the spread in their last 7 on the road though. On the season, they're 5-4 against the spread as road dogs. On the Dallas side, Mavs went into the break hot, 5-1 against the spread in their last 6, just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 at home though, and they're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 as home favorites. In this particular matchup, it's been all Dallas, although Phoenix did get them in the last one. But in the last 11 matchups between these two, the Suns are just 3-8 against the spread against Dallas, just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 trips to Dallas. We also got a lot of trends pointing to the under here. Check this out. So Phoenix 11-5 to the under in their last 16, 6-3 to the under in their last 9 on the road. On the Dallas side, 10-4 to the under in their last 14, 2-6 to the under, or 6-2 to the under, I should say, in their last 8 at home. And in this particular head-to-head matchup, the under is 8-3 in the last 11, and 6-2 to the under in the last 8 matchups in Dallas. So a lot of trends pointing towards an under bet here. We'll start with the matchup for the Suns offense. Probably not going to be many second chance points here for Phoenix. Just 22nd in offensive rebounding rate in the last 10. Dallas defensively is up at 10th. As we know, when we're talking about the Suns offense, we got to bring up the mid-range shooting because they shoot more mid-range shots than anyone else in the NBA. First in frequency from the long mid-range, 12th in frequency from the short mid-range, first in efficiency in both those zones. But Dallas has actually played great defense against the mid-range shot from both the short and long mid-range, 6th and 8th in the last 10 games for the Mavs. So overall, the Dallas defense matches up well against Phoenix offense. On paper, it should be a tough matchup for the Suns. On the other side of the court, we got the Mavs offense. Dallas also likes to shoot the long mid-range shot. They're 5th in frequency, 2nd in efficiency in their last 10. Suns have been great there defensively as well. 8th in frequency, 7th in efficiency in the last 10. So another positive angle for a defense there. We keep it moving, bring up the above the break 3 numbers. We know Dallas loves to shoot the ball from out there. 10th in frequency in their last 10. Suns defense has been great out there too. 3rd in defensive efficiency against above the break 3 in the last 10. The fast break is also a big part of Dallas offense. On the season, they're 11th in frequency, 4th in efficiency. The Suns have been pretty good defending the fast break, though. Just 23rd in frequency, so they allowed a lot of opportunities, but they're 8th in efficiency, so they've defended the fast break well. As far as betting this game, I like the matchups for both defenses here. Trends point heavily to an under, so screw it. Give me the under at 243.5. If you force me to pick a side, I would probably take Phoenix, as I think overall they've played slightly better than Dallas if you take like the last month as a sample size instead of the last 2 weeks, but I just feel more comfortable sitting on an under here. Next game, Houston's on the road in New Orleans here. Pelicans laying 6.5 points at home, total sitting at 228. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, the final score should be 116-110 Pellies. Injury reports, we'll start with Houston. Fred VanVleet is back. Steady Freddy back in the lineup for the Rockets. Reggie Bullock listed as questionable. Tari Eason is still out for Houston. I thought he was coming back there before the All-Star break, but nope, he's been ruled out for this one. On the Pelicans side, Brandon Ingram's on the report. He's listed as questionable. Cody Zeller is also listed as questionable. Dyson Daniels has been ruled out for the Pellies. So before we dive into this one, we need to point out that both of these teams are on the first leg of back-to-backs. I mean, both are well rested, so it shouldn't be a factor, but figure we should mention it. Houston has the Suns on deck tomorrow. Pelicans have the Heat on deck tomorrow. So not sure how much that factors into a bet, but figured it was worth mentioning. Betting trends on the Houston side. Rockets 3-5 against the spread in their last 8, 4-12 against the spread in their last 16 on the road, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 as road dogs. Ugly looking trends for Houston. But then we flip it over to the New Orleans side. Also, some ugly looking trends here. Just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 overall, 5-8 against the spread in their llast 13 at home. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Pellies. Houston just 3-9-1 against the spread in their last 13 matchups against New Orleans, just 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 trips to New Orleans. We got a bunch of trends pointing to an under bet in this one as well. Houston Rockets 3-1 to the under in their last 4 games, 5-3 to the under in their last 8 on the road. And in this particular head-to-head matchup, 7 straight unders between the Rockets and Pelicans, 7 straight unders, and 4-1 to the under in the last 5 matchups between these two in New Orleans. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with Houston's offense. As we know, Houston loves to attack the rim. They're actually first in shot frequency at the rim in their last 10 games. Pelicans defense, just mediocre, protecting the basket, 16th in frequency, 17th in efficiency in the last 10. Rockets also take a lot of shots from outside. On the last 10 games, they're 7th in frequency from above the break. Pelicans defense, 30th in frequency, 15th in efficiency. So on paper, Houston might find some opportunities to score points here. What worries me about the Rockets offense is the turnovers. In the last 10 games, they're 20th 20th in turnover rate. Look at New Orleans defense, 3rd in forced turnover rate in the last 10. So Houston may have problems protecting the ball here. On the other side of the court, we got the Pelicans offense. Now, if you use the full season numbers, New Orleans should have plenty of opportunities from the foul line here. 7th in free throw rate compared to dead last. 30th for Houston. But if you look at a more recent sample size, like the last 5 or last 10 games, these numbers have evened out. So this is not as crazy as a mismatch in recent action as it looks here. When we pull up the shot charts for the Pelicans offense, as we know, they shoot a lot of those long mid-range shots. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in frequency, 7th in efficiency. So they've been really efficient from there. Look at the Rockets' defensive numbers against that shot. 1st in frequency, 5th in efficiency in the last 10. So nice little positive angle for the Rockets defense. The truth is, I actually like this matchup on paper for Houston. The problem is the Rockets just have not produced on the road. I mean, you can see the drop off in numbers here. Offense is worse, goes from 20th to 29th in efficient field goal percentage. Defense is worse, goes from 3rd to 12th. Rebounding actually slightly better on the road, but overall, I mean, there's just such a drop off in production from the Rockets at home to the Rockets on the road. So I don't think I can actually pull the trigger on this one, but I'm leaning towards the Rockets. I'm leaning Houston plus 6.5. I mean, maybe if the market drives this number up to like an 8, 8.5, might jump in on the Rockets. So I'll say Rockets are passed for now. I'll let you know the final decision on the live show at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Next game, Clippers, Thunder. This is a good one here. Clips are on the road in OKC. Thunder laying 2.5 points at home, and the total sitting at 237.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, Clips should win this one outright. Final score 117-116 Clips. Injury reports in this one. Actually nobody for either team. Not a single name on the report from the Clippers. It looks like everyone's good to go. And same goes for Oklahoma City. I'm not seeing a single name on the injury report for either team here. Before we get into this one, I should mention that both these teams are on the first leg of a back-to-back, as are a lot of teams in the NBA. I'm not sure how much of a factor this is. Clippers have the Grizzlies on deck, and Oklahoma City has Washington on deck. Betting trends on the Clippers side. Just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 overall. They are 12-5 against the spread in their last 17 on the road, though. Just 3-6 against the spread as road dogs, though. They've been much better as road favorites. On the Oklahoma City side, just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9, 2-4 against the 6 in their 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 at home. They are 15-7 against the spread as home favorites this year, though. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Thunder. The Clips are just 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 matchups against OKC. Just 2-11 against the spread in their last 13 trips to Oklahoma City. It's also been overs in this matchup. 5-2 to the over in the last 7 meetings between these two. 10-5 to the over in the last 15 meetings at OKC. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with the Clips offense. Clippers have been relying a lot on jump shots recently. You can see in the last 10 games, they're 7th in long mid-range frequency, 11th in above the break 3 frequency, 14th from the corner 3. So they've been taking a lot of jump shots, and that's good news because Oklahoma City defensively has struggled against jump shooters in the last 10 games. Oklahoma City's 15th against the long mid-range in efficiency, 25th against the above the break 3, 16th against the corner 3. A huge negative angle for the Clippers offense, though. This is a team that likes to get out in transition and run the fast break. They're 9th in frequency, 14th in efficiency. I don't know if that's going to be there on the road in Oklahoma City because OKC has arguably the best transition defense in basketball this year. 1st in frequency, 2nd in efficiency. And speaking of transition numbers, let's flip it over to the other side of the court. And we got a mismatch for Oklahoma City right off the bat. As we know, Thunder run the shit out of the fast break. 1st in frequency, 9th in efficiency. This is a very good fast break team. Clippers defensively have not been great against the fast break. 18th in frequency, 25th in efficiency on the season. After that, though, there's not many positive angles for Oklahoma City's offense here. You could say they're going to struggle to get to the foul line. In the last 10, they're 19th in free throw rate. Clippers defense 2nd in free throw rate. So that's a positive for the Clips defense. To be honest, it's tough to find angles on this side of the court because the Clippers defense and Thunder offense both are such well-rounded units. Clips defensively are pretty good at everything, and Thunder offensively are pretty good at everything. So tough to find individual angles in this particular matchup. As far as betting this game, if this one was being played before the All-Star break, based on how these two teams were producing in the 2 or 3 weeks before the break, I would take the points with the Clippers here. But I mean, with a full week off, who knows if Oklahoma City kind of got their shit together and are going to come out looking like the November, December Oklahoma City Thunder. So honestly, I know it sucks because it's such a big game, but I think I'm going to pass on this one. I guess I'd lean Clippers, but as of right now, this is a pass for me. I'll let you know the final decision on the live show, but I'll say Clippers or pass. Next game. Boston on the road in Chicago. Bulls catching 7.5 points at home. Total sitting at 225.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet and check this out. According to the model, this one's deadlocked. Final score 114. So that would be a strong lean towards Bulls plus the points. Betting trends on the Boston side are not good. 2-7-1 against the spread in their last 10, 3-4-1 against the spread in their last 8 on the road, 8-12-1 against the spread in their last 21 as road favorites. On the other hand, trends on the Chicago side are looking pretty good. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, the Bulls are. 5-3 against the spread in their last 8 at home, and they're 6-3-1 against the spread as home dogs. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Bulls. The Celtics are just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 against Chicago, just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 trips to Chicago. Also have a decent amount of trends pointing towards an under here. Celtics 5-11 to the under in their last 16, 2-5 to the under in their last 7 on the road. In this particular head-to-head matchup, 8-4 to the under in their last 12, 2-14 in the last 16 matchups in Chicago to the under. But get this, before we go running to bet an under, Bulls have been trending towards an over. Chicago 6-1 to the over in their last 7, 5-1 to the over in their last 6 at home. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and right off the bat, we got a huge positive angle for Boston offensively. As we know, this team lives above the break. They launched threes from out there in the last 10. Shocker, they're first in frequency, 9th in efficiency. This has been a major area of weakness for the Bulls defense in the last 10, 25th in frequency, 20th in efficiency. Boston is also an offense that likes to get out in transition. On the season, they're 8th in fast break frequency, 11th in efficiency. That's another area the Bulls have struggled with defensively. Now, they're good at limiting opportunities. They're 3rd in frequency, but they're dead last in defensive efficiency against the fast break on the year. So definitely a favorable matchup on paper for the Celtics offense. Now, on the other side of the court, we do have a little bit of a positive angle for the Bulls offense, though. In the last 5 games, they're 1st in frequency from the long mid-range shot. As we know, Bulls love to shoot that shot. They're 9th in frequency from the short mid-range shots. So similar to the Suns, not quite as crazy as the Suns, but Bulls shoot a lot of those mid-range shots. Celtics' main weak spot defensively has been that short mid-range shot. In the last 5 games, 26th in frequency, 25th in efficiency, but they've actually been good against the longer mid-range. So they're 2nd in efficiency against that shot in the last 5 games and the last 10 games. So Bulls maybe can score a little bit on the interior, but Celtics have done a decent job against jump shooters. As far as betting this game, I mean, I can tell you straight up, I will not be laying 7.5 points with Boston. No way. But I don't know if I can get there with Bulls plus 7.5 when they've been struggling to defend the above the break 3 and they've been struggling to defend the fast break. It's just a really bad matchup. But I do like the over. Bulls have been trending towards the over. I know Celtics have been trending towards the under, but Bulls have been trending towards the over. It's down to 224.5. I like the matchup for both offenses. Yeah, I'm going to take the over here, 224.5. Next game. Washington Wizards on the road in Denver. Nuggets laying 15 points at home. 15. You heard that correctly. Total sitting at 231.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see a 10-point Nuggets win. Final score 119-109 Denver. Injury reports. We'll start with the Wizards. And actually, we got nobody. Nobody on the injury report for Washington. Wizards should be at full strength here. On the Denver side, Jamal Murray's on the report, but he's listed as probable. Same goes for Caldwell Pope. Strother's also on the report, but he's been back for 2 or 3 weeks now. He's listed as probable as well. Another game where I have to mention both of these teams are on the first leg of back-to-backs. I don't know why the NBA does so many of these. Not sure if it really factors into the bet, but Washington has Oklahoma City on deck. Denver has Portland on deck. Betting trends on the Wizards side, those red-hot Washington Wizards. Washington 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 overall, 7 in a row on the road. 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 road games. On the Denver side, not looking great. Nuggets are just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 at home also. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been leaning towards Denver. The Wizards are just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 matchups against the Nuggets. Just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 trips to Denver. Another game where we have a lot of trends pointing towards an under bet here. Wizards 10-3 to the under in their last 13, 9-3 to the under in their last 12 on the road. On the Denver side, 11-2 to the under in their last 13, 5-1 to the under in their last 6 at home. And in this particular head-to-head matchup, 4-2 to the under in their last 6. So a lot of trends pointing towards an under here. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with the Wizards offense. Kind of tough to find positive angles for the Wizards offense, but they are second in frequency from the short mid-range in the last 10. Denver defensively just 17th and 15th. So I guess that's a positive angle for the Wizards. You can also look at their numbers in transition. On the season, they're 4th in frequency, 5th in efficiency. The fast break has been pretty much the only bright spot of the Wizards offense this whole season. Look at the Nuggets defensively, just 18th in defensive efficiency against the fast break this year. On the other side of the court, we got the Nuggets offense, and right off the bat, they're going to have the huge rebounding edge here. In the last 10, they're 3rd in offensive rebounding rate. Washington defensively back at 21st. As far as the shot charts go, Denver's pretty balanced offensively. They do shoot a lot of those long mid-range shots. They're 3rd in frequency and 14th in efficiency in the last 10. It's been a major area of weakness for Washington, 23rd and 25th. So I guess that's a positive angle for the Nuggets offense. But as a whole, it's tough here. Washington's main weakness defensively has been protecting the basket. And that's been the case all season. In the last 10 games, they're dead last. 30th in defensive efficiency at the rim, the Wizards are. But look at the Nuggets offense. They're also dead last. 30th in field goal percentage at the basket. Denver's really been struggling to score down there. So I don't know how much of a mismatch this is, honestly. How do we not take the Wizards here? 15 points with a team that's covered 7 in a row on the road and a Denver team that really hasn't looked like themselves? Give me Washington plus 15 next game. Charlotte on the road in Utah. Jazz laying 10 points at home here, and the total sitting at 230.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 4-point Jazz win. Final score 119-115 Utah. Injury reports. We'll start with the Hornets. Mark Williams still out at center. LaMelo Ball still out at point guard. Other than that, though, the Hornets have completely healed. They were dealing with injuries for a lot of this season, and they're still missing those 2 main pieces. But other than that, Hornets are good to go. On the Utah side, Jazz are also in really good shape injury-wise. Otto Porter has been ruled out, but he hasn't even been with the team long. So Jazz in good shape. Before we get into this game, we should probably mention that this is a decent spot for Utah. The Jazz went into the All-Star break losing 4 in a row. They got 2 days rest before their next game. So they have this game against the Hornets, then 2 days off before they play the Spurs. Meanwhile, the Hornets, they're coming off 3 straight wins, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back. They've got Golden State on deck. Betting trends on the Charlotte side. Hornets 5-1 against the spread in their last 6, including 3 straight outright wins. They're just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 on the road, though. On the Utah side, just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 before the break. 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 at home. 7-3 against the spread as home favorites, though, in their last 10 as home favorites. This particular head-to-head matchup definitely has been leaning towards Utah. Charlotte just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 matchups against the Jazz. 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 trips to Utah. As far as trends for the total, Charlotte's been trending towards unders. 3-1 to the under in their last 4. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 on the road. But Utah's been trending towards overs. 12-5 to the over in their last 17. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at home. This particular matchup has been under, though. 5-1 to the under in the last 6 matchups between the Hornets and Jazz. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with the Hornets offense. Charlotte's been taking a lot of jump shots lately. 5th in above the break frequency, 5th in long mid-range frequency in the last 5. Jazz defensively have been terrible against jump shooters in the last 5 games. 28th and 30th against the above the break 3, 20th and 24th against the long mid-range shot. So a good start to this handicap for Charlotte's offense. I want to bring up overall efficiency numbers next because I really want to illustrate just how bad this Utah defense has been. In the last 10 games, the Utah Jazz defense is allowing 127.2 points per 100 possessions. Dead last in the NBA, 30th. Now, to be fair, they have played a tough schedule. They're 8th in strength of schedule in the last 10. But still, this Jazz defense entering the All-Star break was next level bad. Now, on the other side of the court, we definitely have some positive angles for Utah's offense, though. They should get whatever they want on the interior. They take a lot of shots in the paint, a lot of shots at the rim. 52% of the Jazz shot attempts in the last 10 games have come from 12 feet and inside. Look at the Hornets' defensive efficiency numbers in the paint and at the rim in the last 10 games. 25th and 29th. So sure, maybe Charlotte's going to make some jump shots on the Jazz. Terrible defense, but Utah's going to be scoring points right back on Charlotte. Now, when we look a little deeper here, Utah also takes a lot of three-point shots, or a decent amount, I should say. 8th in above the break frequency, 12th in corner three frequency. That's been the strength of the Hornets defense. In the last 10 games, they're 5th in efficiency against the corner, 12th in efficiency against the above the break. Also, the fast break probably isn't going to be there for the Jazz. The Jazz like to run it in transition. They're 12th in frequency, not that efficient with it on the season. Look at the Hornets defensive numbers. 10th in frequency, 13th in efficiency. How do we not take the Hornets here? I mean, 10 points with a team that's won 3 in a row against a Jazz team that just can't stop anyone. I mean, there's no way I'd lay 10 to the Hornets. I'm going to be on Charlotte. Give me Charlotte plus 10. I can see them winning. But again, it's the All-Star break. Very common for a team to look one way, go into the break, and then come out looking completely different. But based on what we saw before the All-Star break, Charlotte plus 10 has to be the move here. Next game. San Antonio on the road at Sacramento is up next. Kings laying 9.5 points at home to the Spurs. Total sitting at 241.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 4-point Kings win. Final score 117-113 Kings. Before we get into this one, we need to mention that the Spurs are on the first leg of a back-to-back. They have the Lakers on deck tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Kings have 2 full days off after this one. So, look, everyone's rested after the All-Star break, but I have to say a little bit of a fortunate spot for the Kings. Betting trends on the San Antonio side don't look great. 2-7 against the spread in the last 9 overall for the Spurs. Just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. On the Sacramento side, they also look kind of ugly. 2-4 against the spread in their last 6. 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 at home. 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 as home favorites. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's been all Kings. Spurs are just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 against Sacramento. 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 trips to Sacramento. Trends for the total: 10-1 to the under in the last 11 for the Spurs. 4-1 to the under in the last 5 Spurs road games. But on the Kings side, it's been all overs. Kings are 6-1-1 to the over in their last 8. 5-2 to the over in their last 7 at home. And in this particular matchup, it's been 6-2 to the over in the last 8. 8-2 to the over in the last 10 matchups in Sacramento. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with the Spurs offense, but I gotta say, Spurs offense might be the toughest unit to get a beat on. In the last 5 games, they've been taking a lot of short mid-range shots. They're 3rd in frequency, 5th in efficiency, and that has been a weaker spot for Sacramento defensively. But if you take a step back to the last 10 games, it doesn't quite look the same. So, Spurs are a really tough offense to get a read on. They like to run in transition. They're 7th in fast break frequency. Kings defensively, I mean, they're good at limiting opportunities, but they're bad in efficiency. I really don't have any read as far as the Spurs offense against the Kings defense. Good luck, man. I got nothing. I will say turnovers will probably be a problem for the Spurs. On the last 10 games, they're 29th in turnover rate, so they're really struggling to protect the basketball. Sacramento defensively, 8th in forced turnover rate. So there's something. Kings should be able to create some turnovers here, but as a whole, Spurs offense, I just got nothing. Now, when we flip it over and look at the matchup for the Kings offense, efficient field goal percentage goes to the Kings. But look at rebounding, turnovers, free throw rate, all advantage San Antonio. To be honest, I'm not even going to waste any more time talking about this game. I have no feel for this whatsoever. I mean, I really don't want to lay 9.5, 10 points with the Kings at home, but I really don't want any part of the Spurs right now. So I guess gun to my head, I'd say Sacramento minus 9.5, but this might be a straight pass for me. Next game. Lakers are on the road in Golden State. Warriors laying 5.5 or 5 or 6. I'm seeing some 6s. Line's kind of all over the place for this one. I think it's the consensus line is about 5.5. Total sitting at 241.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a close one. 1-point Golden State win. Final score 120-119 Warriors. Before we get into this one, we should mention that this is another spot where both teams are on the first leg of back-to-backs. This is so stupid. But yeah, the Lakers have the Spurs on deck. Golden State has the Hornets on deck. Betting trends on the Lakers side are looking pretty good. 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 overall. 3-1 against the spread in their last 4 on the road. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 as road dogs. On the Golden State side, we got 8-2 against the spread in their last 10, but just 3-5-1 against the spread in their last 9 at home, and just 7-14 this year against the spread as home favorites. In this particular head-to-head matchup, it's definitely tilted towards the Lakers. Lakers are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 against Golden State, but in Golden State, it's been pretty back and forth. The Lakers are 3-4 against the spread in their last 7 trips to Golden State. Trends for the total, I think, are pointing towards an over. The Lakers are 4-3 to the under in their last 7, but in their last 21 road games, the Lakers are 18-3 to the over. And then when you flip it over to the Golden State side, yeah, they're 7-3 to the under in their last 10. But look at their last 12 at home. 9-3 to the over. And then you take it a step further, if you look at this particular head-to-head matchup, 5-2 to the over in their last 7, 7-1 to the over in their last 8 matchups in Golden State. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with the Lakers offense. Right off the bat, Lakers should get plenty of opportunities from the free throw line here. In the last 10 games, they're first in free throw rate. Warriors defense 19th in free throw rate. As we know, the Lakers offense loves to attack the interior. They're 10th in frequency from the short mid-range in the last 10. Warriors have terrible defensive numbers against that shot. 30th in frequency, 20th in efficiency. But the Warriors have protected the basket well. 8th in frequency, 3rd in efficiency at the rim in the last 10, which is another spot the Lakers take a lot of shots from. Here's a great angle for the Lakers offense, though. The fast break. The Lakers have been pushing the pace all year. They're 5th in fast break frequency, 7th in efficiency, so they've been good at it. That's been a weak spot for Golden State defensively on the season. 26th in frequency, 22nd in efficiency. The only positive angle I could see for Golden State's defense here would be rebounding. Lakers have not been active on the offensive glass. They're dead last in offensive rebounding rate in the last 10. Golden State's been a pretty solid defensive rebounding team. They're 11th in the last 10. And speaking of rebounding, Golden State has the edge on the other side of the court as well. Golden State offensively in the last 10 games, 4th in offensive rebounding rate. Lakers defense 27th. So the Warriors should definitely get a lot of opportunities as far as second chance points. After that, though, not a ton of positive angles for the Warriors offense here. They're not going to get many trips to the foul line. 27th in free throw rate, the Warriors offense. Lakers defense 1st in free throw rate. And as we know, the Warriors love to shoot the above the break 3. 2nd in frequency, 4th in efficiency in their last 10. Lakers defense has been improving in that department. In the last 10 games, they're 17th and 9th against the above the break 3. In the last 5 games, they're 6th and 6th. So the Lakers 3-point defense is on the come up. Another shot zone the Warriors offense frequents the paint, those short mid-range shots. They're 9th in frequency in the last 10. Lakers have been improving there as well. 25th in frequency, 8th in efficiency. And we got to finish off by bringing up the home away splits for Golden State because they're just so extreme this season. On the road, Golden State 6th in efficient field goal percentage, 7th in defensive efficient field goal percentage, 1st in total rebounding rate. Those numbers are dramatically worse at home. I just can't get behind laying a number like 5.5 or 6 with Golden State at home. They just haven't played that well there, especially laying those points to a team like the Lakers that I personally think is built to give them problems. So I'm taking the points here. Give me Lakers plus 5.5. I might even play the money line. Like I said earlier, live show 4 p.m. Eastern time. Actually, the college basketball show is at 3 p.m. Eastern time. The NBA show 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. We'll go through all the games, make our final decisions. If you want my top bets for all sports, parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord, and I'm going to be posting bets the night before now, so I don't miss some lines. I'm going to start doing that. So if you're interested in that, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage. NBA is officially back. Maybe lighten up the units for the first few days till we get a feel for how these teams come out of the break. But excited to have it back. Be sure to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.